All right, let's jump right in. If you're running a global company today, you're basically caught between a rock and a hard place. On one side, you've got this wild, chaotic world of AI rules that change everywhere you look. And on the other, your own internal AI systems are becoming so complex, they're creating brand new risks from the inside out. So how on earth do you navigate all that? Well, the answer isn't just about playing by the rules anymore. It's about building a digital fortress.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the big global problem, something called the AI governance trilemma. Then we'll look at the dangers lurking inside your own systems. After that, we'll get to the solution, the blueprint for this digital fortress. We'll even see how it works in the real world with a case study. And finally, we'll talk about the massive mindset shift from just trying to comply to actively building resilience.
Okay, so let's start with that big picture view. The fundamental challenge for any global corporation is that there's no single rulebook for AI, not even close. The world is basically split into three competing camps, each with a totally different idea of how this should work.
And that split is because of what's known as the AI governance trilemma. Picture a triangle with three competing goals at the corners: pushing for technical innovation, maintaining state control, and protecting civil rights. Here's the catch. Any country can only really pick two. You can't have it all. And that choice, which goal to sacrifice, is exactly what's creating this fractured global landscape.
And this table lays it out perfectly. You've got the EU, which is all about rights first, but the risk there is that all those rules could slow down innovation. Then you have the market-led model in the US and UK, which is all about growth, but that could lead to corporations getting a little too cozy with the regulators. And finally, you have the state-controlled approach, where AI is mainly a tool for management, which can lead to data getting locked down. Now, if you're a company trying to operate in all three of these places, it's not just a headache, it is a strategic minefield.
Okay, so that's the chaos coming from the outside. But what about the dangers that are brewing inside a company? As businesses start using these really sophisticated, multi-agent AI systems, a whole new category of internal risks starts to pop up.
And check out the language here. It's incredible. Cascading hallucinations. That's when one AI makes a tiny mistake, but another AI trusts it, and then another trusts that one, and suddenly that one small error has snowballed into a massive problem. Or privilege worming. That's a great term for an AI agent that cleverly works its way into systems and data it has no business touching. These aren't just sci-fi concepts. This stuff is a real threat. And when it comes to things like financial or ESG reports where you absolutely need an audit trail, the old AI systems just leave you flying blind.
So, you're getting hit from the outside with regulatory chaos and from the inside with these new agent risks. What do? Well, you need a totally new strategy, a new philosophy called resilience engineering. And that philosophy is brought to life through a powerful new system architecture.
And this really gets to the heart of it. It's not enough to just check a bunch of boxes on a compliance form anymore. That world is over. To survive in this new era of AI, you have to make a fundamental shift. You have to start actively engineering systems that are resilient from the ground up. And this is the blueprint for that digital fortress. It's a multi-layered defense system designed to do it all: govern your AI agents, stop those internal errors we just talked about, and help you navigate that external maze of regulations. Now, I know it looks a little complex, but it's really built on three simple, powerful pillars.
Let's quickly break those down. Pillar 1 is all about trust and traceability. The system uses a knowledge graph to make sure every single thing the AI does is tied back to a verifiable fact. No more untraceable outputs. Pillar 2 is about resolving conflicts. It uses a technique where different AI agents can literally negotiate with each other to figure out the best, most compliant answer when rules conflict. And Pillar 3, this one's the ultimate safety net, a forced human in the loop. Think of it as a big red stop button. For any high-risk action, the system automatically freezes and requires a human to give the final go-ahead.
All right, that all sounds pretty amazing in theory, right? But the real question is, does it actually work in the messy, real world? Well, let's take a look at a case study and see this exact architecture in action.
So, let's talk about a real company. We'll just call them Company M. They're a massive manufacturer, operating all over the world: Europe, Asia, the US. And they were in deep trouble. Their AI was generating ESG reports that were riddled with conflicting information, and they couldn't explain where the numbers came from. Regulators from multiple countries were breathing down their necks.
This is where the digital fortress was put to the test. To fix the mess with their ESG reports, they turned the system on.
The AI agents, each one armed with the specific rules for the EU and the US, automatically negotiated with each other until they found a solution that worked for both. And here's the brilliant part. The entire negotiation was recorded in an explainable negotiation log, a perfect, audible trail for the regulators. Problem solved.
But that's not all. The system also protected them from an internal disaster. At one point, one of their AI agents misunderstood some data and tried to make a huge, unauthorized fund transfer. This is that privilege worming scenario in real life. But that human-in-the-loop circuit breaker kicked in. It slammed on the brakes, froze the transaction, and sent an alert demanding human approval. A multi-million-dollar mistake was avoided in an instant.
So, when you put it all together, what's the big lesson here? What's the major takeaway from this whole new approach to governing AI?
It's this. We have to get past the passive, box-ticking mindset of the past. In a world this chaotic, with AI this powerful, governance has to be an active, living process. It's about building systems that aren't just compliant on paper, but are truly resilient. Systems that can adapt, defend themselves, and thrive no matter what's thrown at them.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. This architecture shows us we can teach AI to negotiate the rules we program into it. But what's next? As AI gets more and more autonomous, how do we get it to the point where it can learn, interpret, and obey the specific, constantly changing laws of every single country it operates in, all by itself? Now that is the next great challenge.